Did you know that Isaac Newton, one of the most influential scientists in history, spent as much time studying the Bible as he did unraveling the mysteries of the universe? Isaac Newton, born in the year 1643, is a household name synonymous with the laws of motion and universal gravitation. His work, Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, often just called Principia, is considered a cornerstone of classical physics. In it, Newton described universal gravitation and the three laws of motion, which laid the groundwork for classical mechanics. His discoveries revolutionized our understanding of the physical world, and his name is etched in the annals of science as one of the greatest thinkers of all time. But there's more to Newton than just apples and gravity. There's a side to him that often gets overshadowed by his scientific achievements. This side is deeply spiritual, rooted in theology and the study of the Bible. Yes, you heard it right. Newton, the towering figure of 17th century science, was as much a theologian as he was a physicist. Newton lived in an era when science and religion were not viewed as opposing forces, but rather as intertwined threads in the fabric of understanding the universe. He saw the natural world and the cosmos as divine creations, and he sought to understand them as a means of comprehending God's grand design. His theological endeavors were extensive. Newton wrote volumes on biblical chronology, prophecies, and the original languages of the Bible. He believed the Holy Book held hidden codes and messages that could be deciphered with careful study. Yet, many of these writings were kept secret during his lifetime, given the controversial nature of theological debates in his era. Just imagine, one of the greatest scientists in history, meticulously poring over ancient texts, seeking answers not only in the stars and the laws of motion, but also in the sacred verses of the Bible. This fusion of faith and science in Newton's work is a testament to his belief that the pursuit of knowledge is multidimensional. So let's delve deeper into this lesser-known side of Newton, a side that profoundly influenced his scientific work. Born in 1643, Newton lived in an era where the lines between science and religion were blurred. This was a time when understanding the world around you meant straddling the realms of both faith and fact. This was the world Isaac Newton was born into, and it's here that our story begins. Isaac Newton was born on Christmas Day in the small English hamlet of Woolsthorpe, Lincolnshire. His father, a prosperous farmer, died before Newton was born, leaving him in the care of his mother, Hannah Ayscough. When Newton was just 3 years old, his mother remarried and left him in the care of his grandmother. These early years were perhaps not the happiest, but they were formative in shaping the person Newton would become. In the 17th century, the religious environment was a powerful influence on young minds, and Newton was no exception. From a young age, Newton was immersed in the teachings of the Church of England. His early education was steeped in religious instruction, and he was expected to adhere to strict moral and religious codes. Newton's early academic interests leaned more towards the classics, philosophy, and theology, rather than the sciences. He was fascinated by the Bible and often sought to reconcile its teachings with the natural world. It was during this time that Newton began to see the world as a divine creation, a complex puzzle set forth by God to challenge mankind's intellect and faith. This religious upbringing had a profound impact on Newton's worldview. He believed that the universe was a divine creation, a sentiment that would later fuel his quest to unlock the mysteries of nature. He saw the pursuit of scientific knowledge not as a challenge to religious beliefs, but as a way to understand and appreciate the divine work of God. Newton's early fascination with theology didn't wane as he delved deeper into the sciences. Instead, it became an integral part of his scientific approach. For Newton, the universe was a grand divine puzzle, and every discovery he made was a piece of that puzzle falling into place. As Newton grew older, his fascination with the divine only deepened, influencing his approach to science. As we'll soon see, this interplay between faith and science would become a defining aspect of Newton's life and work. Newton's theological studies were as extensive, if not more, than his scientific work. Isaac Newton, the man who revolutionized physics and mathematics, was also a dedicated scholar of the Bible and theology. His intellectual curiosity led him to explore various theological topics, sometimes even more fervently than his scientific pursuits. One of his primary interests was biblical chronology, the study of the dates of historical events recorded in the Bible. Newton painstakingly analyzed biblical texts, cross-referencing them with known historical events to create a detailed timeline of biblical history. His work in this area was so intense that it often consumed his days and nights, reflecting his deep commitment to understanding the sacred texts. Newton was also fascinated by biblical prophecies. He believed that these prophecies contained hidden messages about the future of mankind and the end of the world. He spent countless hours poring over these prophecies, trying to decipher their meanings and implications. This fascination with prophecies was a testament to Newton's belief in the divine inspiration of the Bible. But not all of Newton's theological studies were shared with the world. In fact, many of his writings on these subjects were kept secret during his lifetime, likely due to the controversial nature of his ideas. Newton lived in a time when challenging the established religious doctrines could lead to severe consequences, including ostracism and persecution. So he chose to keep his most radical theological ideas to himself, a decision that only adds to the intrigue of his intellectual legacy. Newton's approach to theology was as meticulous as his approach to science, believing the Bible contained hidden codes waiting to be deciphered. This belief, this dedication to unraveling the secrets of the universe, whether through the lens of science or theology, is a testament to Newton's intellectual prowess and his enduring influence. It shows us that Newton was not just a scientist, but also a deeply spiritual man, a scholar who sought truth in every facet of existence. For Newton, science and theology weren't separate fields, but rather two sides of the same coin. This sentiment was reflected in the way he approached his studies. His belief in a divinely ordered universe guided his scientific investigations, and his scientific discoveries, in turn, deepened his understanding and appreciation of the divine. Newton's theological studies significantly influenced his scientific work. He viewed the natural world as a manifestation of God's handiwork, a belief that fueled his insatiable curiosity and drive to uncover the laws governing the physical universe. His groundbreaking work in physics, particularly his formulation of the laws of motion and universal gravitation, was underpinned by this theological grounding. In Newton's mind, God was not just a distant deity, but a master craftsman whose design could be discerned in the intricate workings of the universe. This perspective led him to develop the concept of a clockwork universe, a model in which the universe operates like a giant, perfectly tuned machine. This concept was revolutionary for its time and remains influential in scientific thought today. Newton's commitment to rigorous empirical study was mirrored in his approach to theology. Just as he sought to uncover the laws of physics, he believed that careful study of the Bible could reveal hidden truths about God's nature and intentions. This belief led him to write extensively on biblical interpretation and prophecy, with the same meticulous attention to detail that he applied to his scientific inquiries. In a time when many saw science and religion as opposing forces, Newton saw them as complementary. His belief in the interplay of faith and reason, of revelation and empirical evidence, was a testament to his intellectual rigor and breadth of vision. He saw both as necessary to fully grasp the majesty of the universe and the divine plan within it. Newton's unique synthesis of science and theology shaped not only his own work, but also the broader scientific and theological discourse. His legacy serves as a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge can encompass both the material and the spiritual, the seen and the unseen. Newton saw both science and religion as methods to understand the divine plan of the universe. Isaac Newton's legacy isn't just about his scientific discoveries, but also his deep commitment to theology. This statement is the crux of our understanding of Newton's multifaceted persona. Newton's theological studies didn't just exist in a vacuum, separate from his scientific pursuits. In fact, they were deeply intertwined and mutually influential. In his era, the realms of science and religion were not as detached as they might seem today. Newton's belief in a divine creator was a driving force behind his relentless quest to decipher the mysteries of the universe. He saw the world as a divine masterpiece, and by studying it, he was gaining insights into the mind of the creator. This perspective offered a unique lens through which Newton interpreted his scientific findings. Moreover, Newton's theological exploration didn't merely serve as an intellectual exercise or a flight of fancy. It had profound implications on his scientific work. For instance, his belief in the Bible containing hidden codes and messages mirrored his scientific approach of looking beyond the obvious, seeking patterns, and making connections. This mindset was instrumental in his formulation of the laws of motion and universal gravitation. Newton's legacy is not just the theories and principles he left behind, but also a philosophy of inquiry that transcends the barriers of disciplines. His life serves as a testament to the fact that the pursuit of knowledge is not confined to a single domain. It can span across multiple dimensions, each enriching and influencing the other. The lasting impact of Newton's work is evident in the way we perceive and interact with the world today. His scientific achievements continue to form the bedrock of modern physics and mathematics. At the same time, his theological pursuits remind us of the potential depth and breadth of human curiosity. As we delve into the complexities of our universe, we carry forward Newton's legacy of relentless inquiry and his conviction that faith and science can coexist. Newton's life demonstrates the pursuit of knowledge can span multiple dimensions, and for him, faith and physics were interconnected journeys of exploration.